Guten Tag. Good morning. Welcome to the stream. welcome to the stream. Goodbye. Hamlin Towns in Brunswick, my famous Hanover City. The river west are deep and wide, watches it fall on the southern side. A pleasanter spot you ever spied, but when begins my pity, almost 500 years ago, see the townsfolk suffer so from the vermin wasn't pity. Rats, they fought the dogs and killed the cats and bit the babies from the cradles, and ate the cheese from the vats and licked the soup from the cooks and the neighbors. Split open the kegs and salted sprats, made nests in the men's Sunday hats, and even spoiled the women's chats by drowning out their speaking with shrieking and squeaking in 50 different sharps and flats. At last the people in a body to the town hall came flocking. "'Tis clear," cried they, "our mayor isn't naughty. And as for our corporation, shocking to think we buy gowns lined with ermine for those who can't or won't determine what's best to rid us of our vermin. You hope because you're old and obese to find the furry civic robe's ease. Rouse up, sirs, give your brain a racking, find the remedy we are lacking, or sure as fate will send you packing." At this Samaritan corporation quaked the mighty consternation. An hour they sat in council. At length the mayor broke silence, for a gilder eyed my urban gown sell. "I wish I were a mile hence. It's easy to bid one racked with brain. I'm sure my poor head aches again. I scratch it so, but all in vain. Oh, for a trap, a trap, a trap." This he said, this what she had, at the chamber door, but a different tap. "Bless us," cried the mayor, "what's that?" With the corporation as he sat, looking little through wondrous fat. Nor brighter were his eyes, nor moister than a too long opened oyster, save when at noon his paunch grew mutinous, for a plate of turtle green and glutinous. Only a scraping of shoes on a mat, anything like the sound of a rat makes my heart go pit-a-pat. "Come in," cried the mayor, looking bigger, and in did come the strange figure. His long queer coat from heel to head was half yellow and half red, and he himself was tall and thin, with sharp blue eyes each like a pin, and light loose hair and swarthy skin, nor tuft of hair on cheek nor beard on chin, while lips where a smile went out and in. There was no guessing his kith or kin, and nobody could enough admire this tall man in his quaint attire. Quoth one, "It's as my great-grandsire, starting up at the trump of doom's tone, and walked this way from his painted tombstone." He advanced towards the council table, and "Please, your honor," said he, "I am able, by means of secret charm to draw, all the creatures living beneath the sun, that crawl or swim or fly or run, after me so as you never saw. And I chiefly use my charm on creatures that do people harm, the mole and toad and newt and viper, and people call me the Pied Piper." And here they noticed round his neck a scarf of red and yellow stripe, to match with his coat of self-same check. And at scarf's end hung a pipe, and his fingers they noticed were ever straying, as if impatient to be playing upon this pipe, as low it dangled over his vesture so old-fangled. "Yes," said he, "Pied Piper as I am, in Tartary I fred the Cam, last June from his huge swarms of gnats. I eased in Asia the Nizam of a monstrous brood of vampire bats. And as for what your brain bewilders, if I rid your town of rats, will you give me 1,000 guilders?" 50,000 was the exclamation of an astonished mayor and corporation. Into the street the piper stepped, smiling first a little smile, as if he knew what magic slept in his quiet pipe the while. Like a musical adept to blow his pipe, his lips he wrinkled, and green and blue his sharp eyes twinkled, like a candle flame where salt is sprinkled. And ere 3 shrill notes the pipe uttered, you heard as if an army muttered, and the muttering grew to a grumbling, and the grumbling grew to a mighty rumbling, and out of the houses came the rats tumbling. Great rats, small rats, lean rats, brawny rats, brown rats, black rats, gray rats, tawny rats, brave old plotters, gay young friskers, fathers, mothers, uncles, cousins, cocking tails and pricking whiskers, families by tens and dozens, brothers, sisters, husbands, wives, followed the Pied Piper for their lives. From street to street he piped advancing, and step for step they followed dancing, until they came to the river Weser, wherein all plunged and perished, save one who stout as Julius Caesar swam across and lived to carry, as he the manuscript he cherished, to that land home his commentary, which was, at first shrill note of the pipe, I heard a sound as it scraped the pipe, and putting apples wondrous ripe into the cider presses ripe, and a moving away of pickle tub boards, and leaving a jar of concert cupboards, and a drawing the corks of train oil flasks, and a breaking the hoops of butter casks. And it seemed as if a voice, sweeter far than by harp or by psalteries breathed, called out, "Oh, rats, rejoice! The world has grown to a vast dry saltery. So munch on, crunch on, take your lunch on, breakfast, supper, dinner, lunch on, and just as a bulky sugar punch on, already stayed like a bright sun shone, gracious scarce an inch before me, just as me thought it said come bore me, I found the west rolling over me. You should have heard the Hamlin people ring the bell so they rock the steeple. Go, cried the mayor, and get long poles, poke out the nests and block up the holes, consult with carpenters and builders, and leave in our town not even a trace of the rats, when suddenly up the face of the piper curved in the marketplace. The first, if you please, my 1,000 guilders. 1,000 guilders, the mayor looked blue, so did the corporation too, for council dinners made rare havoc with claret, moselle, vin de gras, pop, and half the money would replenish their sellers' biggest butt of Rhenish, to pay this sum to a wondering fellow, a 60 coat of red and yellow. Besides, quoth the mayor with a knowing wink, our business was done at the river's brink. We saw with our eyes the vermin sink, and what's dead can't come to life, I think. So, friends, we are not folks to shrink from our duty of giving you something to drink, and a matter of money to put in your poke. But as for the guilders, when we spoke of them, as you well know, wasn't a joke. Besides, our losses have made us thrifty. 1,000 guilders, come, take 50. The piper's faced on, he cried, no trifling, I can't wait beside. I promise a visit by dinner time to Baghdad, and accept the prime of the head cook's pot bar. All these rich in, for having left in the caliph's kitchen, of a nest of scorpions no survivor. With him I prove no bargain driver, with you don't think I'll bait a stiver. But folks who put me in a passion, may find me pipe after another fashion. How, cried the mayor, you think I brook, being worse treated than a cook, insulted by a ribald, with idle pipe and vesture piebald. Threaten us, fellow, do your worst, blow your pipe there till you burst. Once more he stepped into the street, and to his lips again laid his long pipe and smooth straight cane, an airy blue 3 notes, such sweet soft notes as yet musicians cunning never gave in raptured air. There was a rustling that seemed like a bustling of merry crowds justling and pitching and hustling. Small feet were paddling, wooden shoes clattering, little hands clapping, and little tongues chattering, like foals in a farmyard with barley is scattering. Out came the children running, all the little boys and girls, robes of cheeks and flaps and curls, with sparkling eyes and teeth like pearls, tripping and skipping ran merrily after, with wonderful music, with shouting and laughter. The mayor was dumb, and the council stood as if they were chained to the blocks of wood, unable to move a step or cry to the children merrily skipping by. Could only follow with an eye that joyous crowd at the piper's back, and how the mayor was on the rack, and the wretched council's bosom beat as the piper turned from the high street to where the Weser rolled its waters, right in the way of their sons and daughters. How he returned from south to west, and to Copperberg Hill his steps addressed, and after him the children pressed. Great was the joy in every breast. He never can cross the mighty top. He's forced to let the piper drop, and we shall see our children stop. When lo, they reached the mountainside, a wondrous portal opened wide. As if a cavern was suddenly hollowed, the piper advanced and the children followed. And when all were in to the very last, the door in the mountainside shut fast. Did I say all? No, one was lame, and could not dance the world away. And in and after years, if you would blame his sadness, he was used to say, it is dull in our town since my playmates left. I can't forget that I'm bereft of all the pleasant sights they see, which the piper also promised me. For he led us, he said, to a joyous land, joining the town just at hand, where waters gushed and fruit trees grew, flowers before the fair hue, and everything was strange and new. The sparrow was brighter than the peacock here, and their dogs are around our fellow deer, and honeybees had lost their stings, and horses were born with eagle's wings, and just as I became assured, my lame foot would be speedily cured. Music stopped, and I stood still, and found myself outside the hill, left behind against my will, to go now limping as before, and never hear of that country more. Alas, alas, for Hamlin, there came into many a burgher's pate, a text which says that heaven's gate opes to the rich at as easy rate as the needle's eye takes a camel in. The mayor sent east, west, north, and south to offer the piper by word of mouth, wherever it was men's lot to find him, silver and gold to his heart's content, if only he'd return the way he went, and bring the children behind him. But when they saw 'twas lost endeavor, and piper or dancers were gone forever, they made a decree that lawyers never should think their records dated duly, if after the day of the month and year, these words do not as well appear. And so long after what happened here on the 22nd of July, 1376, in the better in memory fixed place of the children's last retreat, they called it the Pied Piper Street, where anyone playing pipe or tabor was sure for his future dues of labor, nor suffered they hostelry or tavern to shock the first the street so solemn. And opposite the place of the cavern, they wrote a story on a column, and on great church window painted, the same to make the world acquainted how their children were stolen away. And there it stands this very day. And I must not admit to say that in Transylvania there's a tribe of alien people who ascribe the way and dress of which their neighbors lay such stress to their fathers and mothers having risen out of some subterranean prison into which they were trepanned a long time ago in a mighty band out of hamlet towns in Brunswick land, but how or why they don't understand. So will he let me and you be wipers, scores out of old men, especially pipers. And if they morning, welcome to the stream. No, I'm making bagels. Show you one. The bagel. It's in the water right now. You work at a bakery? Sorry, I didn't read that full comment, but I saw that you said you work at a bakery. This store is located in North Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. Although we have 3 other stores in Vancouver, there's 2 in Vancouver and 2 in North Vancouver. Yeah. I don't know. I've lived in a few different cities in Alberta. I lived in Calgary and Edmonton, and I don't know. I don't find much of a difference between this city and that city. Like, I mean, property is astronomically expensive here, but to rent a place isn't any more expensive than anywhere else in Calgary, really, in my opinion. The only problem is finding a place. Rents aren't too bad here. I don't mind, like, as long as you can find. I mean, I share a place with roommates, but it's one trade-off, I guess. Ontario, yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't think that Vancouver's any more expensive than Toronto, but I don't know. So the thing is, everybody wants to live here, so there's not a lot of housing available for people here. But rents aren't any more than anywhere else I've noticed. In my opinion, anyways. When I was living in Calgary or Edmonton, I was paying about the same rent that I pay here. Gas is more expensive here, but it's also a city that's easier to get around in without a vehicle. I ride my bike as much as I can. It's a great city if you like riding bikes. I like cycling. It has really good infrastructure for cycling and running. And it is a beautiful city. A lovely place to live. We're a growing company, so if you're interested in, you too, have a nice day. If you're interested in moving out here, getting a job, there's lots of jobs out here. speak English. And a little bit of Spanish, not a lot though. I would not be able to have a conversation in Spanish. I understand a few words though. I'm baking bagels. I'm a baker. I'll show you one here. A bagel. It's a half-baked bagel. These are Montreal bagels, Vancouver style. As I like to say. Vancouver style bagels. I think a Vancouver style bagel would be a whole grain vegan bagel. That would be the bagel that best represents Vancouver. It's your stop? Well, I'm sorry, I don't understand. Hello, welcome to the stream. I am baking bagels this morning, as I do most mornings. Looks like we might actually have a nice day here on the North Shore. There's a few clouds in the sky, but it's not like the last few days. It's been pretty rainy. My first thought was he lied in every word, that hoary cripple with the malicious eye, askance to watch the working of his lie, on mind and mouth scarce able to afford suppression of the glee, that pursed and scored its edge at one more victim gained thereby. What else should he be set for with his staff? What save to waylay with his lies and stare all the travelers who might find him posted there? And ask the road, I guess what skull-like laugh would break, what crutch can write my epitaph for pastime in the dusty thoroughfare. If at his counsel I should turn aside, into ominous crack which all agree hides the dark tower. Yet acquiescingly I did turn as he pointed, neither pride nor hope rekindling at the end descried, so much as gladness some end might be. For what, my whole world wide wondering, what with my search drawn out through years, my hope dwindled into a ghost not fit to cope with that obstreperous joy success would bring. I hardly tried now to rebuke the spring my heart made finding failure in its scope. As a sick man very near to death seems dead indeed, and feels begin and end the tears, and takes farewell of each friend, and hears one bid the other go, draw breath freely or outside, since all is over, he saith, and the blow fallen no grieving can amend. While some discuss if near other graves be room enough for this, and when a day suits best for carrying the corpse away, with care about banners, scarfs, and staves, and still the man hears all and only craves, he may not shame such tender love to stay. Lest I had for so long suffered in this quest, heard failure prophesied so oft being writ, so many times among the band to wit, that just to fail as they seem best, and all doubt was now should I be fit. So quiet as despair I turned from him, that hateful cripple, out of his highway into the path he pointed. All the day had been a dreary one at best, and dim was settling into its close, yet shot one grim red near to see the plain catches astray. For mark, no sooner was I fairly found, pledged to the plain after a pace or two, then pausing to throw backward a last view, over the safe road 'twas gone, grey plain all round, nothing but plain to the horizon's bound. I must go on, naught else remained to do. So on I went. I think I never saw a scarping over nature, nothing throve, for flowers as well expect a cedar grove, but chortle and spurge according to their law, might propagate their kind with none to law. You'd think a burr had been a treasure trove. No penury, inertness, and grimace were the land, in some straight sort were the land's portion. See or close your eyes, said nature peevishly, and nothing skills, I can't help my case. 'Tis last judgment's fire must cure this place. Calcite its claws and set my prisoners free. If there pushed any ragged thistle stalk above its mate, its head was chopped, the bents were jealous else. What made the holes and rents in the dock's harsh forest leaves? Bruised as to balk all hope of greenness, 'tis a brute must walk, pashing their life out with a brute's intents. As for the grass, it grew as scarce as hair in leprosy. Thin dry blades pricked the mud, which underneath looked kneaded up with blood. One stiff blind horse, his every bone astare, stood stupefied however he came there. Thrust out past service from the devil's stud. Alive, he might be dead for aught I know, with red gaunt and callop neck astrain, and shut eyes beneath the rusty mane. Seldom went such grotesqueness with such woe. I never saw a brute I hated so. Sorry, I missed your comment there. Hello all, welcome to the stream. I'm Baking Bagels, my name's Steve. I work at Rosemary Rock Salt in North Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. I make Vancouver style bagels. Good morning all.